Kuala Lumpur Center, United 983 India November, with you at 31, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, do not exceed 280 knots.
Do not exceed 280 knots. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
United 983 India November, turn left heading 220 and hold over pivot at flight level 190, right turn, do not exceed 260 knots. Turn left heading 220 and hold over pivot at flight level 190, right turn, Wilco, United 983 India November. FedEx 773 Heavy, turn right heading 140, descend and maintain 10,000.
Turn right heading 140, descend and maintain 10,000. FedEx 773 Heavy.
FedEx 604 Heavy, do not exceed 290 knots. Do not exceed 290 knots. FedEx 604 Heavy. Kuala Lumpur Center, Air China 975, with you at 19,100.
Malaysian 162 Heavy is 18 nautical miles southwest of Kariman at 15,300 feet. Requesting visual approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Malaysian 162 Heavy, unable to provide services to this airport at the moment. Proceed on course.
Roger, Malaysian 162 Heavy.
FedEx 773 Heavy, turn right heading 180. FedEx 604 Heavy, turn left heading 120, descend and maintain flight level 190. FedEx 604 Heavy is 40 nautical miles southeast of Malacca at 24,100 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. FedEx 604 Heavy, turn left heading 110, descend and maintain flight level 190. Delta 023 Heavy, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. Turn left heading 110, descend and maintain flight level 190. FedEx 604 Heavy.
Turn right heading 180, FedEx 773 Heavy. Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, Delta 023 Heavy.
Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra, reduce speed to 250 knots. Reduce speed to 250 knots. Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra, Air China 975, request frequency change. Kuala Lumpur Center, Qatari 576, with you at 35,000. Air China 975, stay on my frequency. Air China 975, turn left heading 170, descend and maintain 10,000. Turn left heading 170, descend and maintain 10,000, Air China 975. Qatari 576, radar contact. Qatari 576, descend via arrival. Kuala Lumpur Center, Air China 825 Heavy, with you at 28,300, descending via LO1 Alpha arrival. Descending via RM1 Alpha arrival, Qatari 576. Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra, contact Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, reduce speed.
Reduce speed to 250 knots. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Air China 825 Heavy, radar contact. United 983 India November, turn right heading 120. Turn right heading 120, United 983 India November. Emirates 354, frequency change approved. Good day. Qatari 576, do not exceed Mach 0.78. Do not exceed Mach 0.78, Qatari 576. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray, amend flight plan to include ATC preferred star at destination. FedEx 773 Heavy, reduce speed to 250 knots.
Reduce speed to 250 knots. FedEx 773 Heavy.
FedEx 773 Heavy, contact Singapore Center on 12 Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee. Thank you, good day. Calling.
Thank you, good day, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. FedEx 604 Heavy, reduce speed to 250 knots.
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Singapore 147.
Singapore 107 is 3 nautical miles southwest of Batam at 1,500 feet, requesting visual approach runway 2 center of Singapore Changi. Singapore 107, turn left heading 170. Singapore 107, turn left heading 140. Turn left heading 140, Singapore 107. FedEx 213 Victor Golf Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 124.6. Singapore 171 Heavy, turn left heading 070. Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6. FedEx 213 Victor Golf Heavy. Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima, turn left heading 040. Turn left heading 040, Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima. Turn left heading 070, Singapore 171 Heavy. Singapore 107, airport is unable to accept arriving traffic. Please divert to a suitable airport. Singapore 171 Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 124.6.
Air Portugal 223 is 0 nautical miles west of Batam at 1,600 feet, requesting IELTS approach any runway at Singapore Changi.
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Singapore 171 Heavy. Singapore 2172, turn right heading 130. Singapore 2172, descend and maintain 7,000. Malaysian 162 Heavy, descend and maintain 8,000. Descend and maintain 7,000, Singapore 2172. Singapore 107 is 8 nautical miles southwest of Batam at 3,500 feet, requesting radar vectors to Singapore Changi.
Descend and maintain 8,000, Malaysian 162 Heavy.
Indonesia 01, turn left heading 180. Singapore 107 is 9 nautical miles southwest of Batam at 3,500 feet, requesting flight following to Singapore Changi. Executing missed approach, Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy. Singapore 107, airport is unable to accept arriving traffic. Please divert to a suitable airport. Singapore 107, please follow instructions or you will be reported. Singapore 2172, turn right heading 140. Turn right heading 140, Singapore 2172. Singapore 2172, disregard last message. Singapore 2172, turn left heading 050. Singapore 107 is 10 nautical miles southwest of Batam at 3,500 feet, requesting visual approach runway 2 center of Singapore Changi. Executing missed approach, Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy. Singapore 107, airport is unable to accept arriving traffic. Please divert to a suitable airport. Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima, descend and maintain 5,000. Malaysian 162 Heavy, turn left heading 100.
Turn left heading 100, Malaysian 162 Heavy.
Descend and maintain 5,000, Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima. Executing missed approach, turn right heading 130, descend and maintain 4,000, Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy. Fiji 333 India Golf Heavy, continuous file, expect the ILS approach runway 2 center of Singapore Changi. Singapore 107 is 11 nautical miles south of Batam at 3,500 feet, requesting radar vectors to Singapore Changi. Descend and maintain 6,000, Singapore 2172.
Turn right heading 260, FedEx 773 Heavy.
Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima, reduce speed to 210 knots. Increase speed to 220 knots. Singapore 2172, reduce speed to 210 knots. Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima.
FedEx 773 Heavy is 17 nautical miles southwest of Kariman at 10,000 feet, requesting visual approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Malaysian 162 Heavy, turn left heading 360, descend and maintain 7,000. Airport in sight, Air China 975. Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima, reduce speed to 200 knots. Reduce speed to 200 knots. Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima. FedEx 773 Heavy, contact Singapore Center on 127.0. Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima, turn right heading 100.
Contacting Singapore Center on 127.0, FedEx 773 Heavy.
Air China 975 is 33 nautical miles northeast of Celator at 11,500 feet, requesting radar vectors. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 130.
Turn left heading 130, descend and maintain 10,000, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
FedEx 604 Heavy, expect vectors for the IL. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, expect vectors for the ILS.
Roger, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima, contact Singapore approach on 124.6. Roger, FedEx 604 Heavy. Malaysian 162 Heavy, turn right heading 070. Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima.
Turn right heading 070, Malaysian 162 Heavy.
Malaysian 162 Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 124.6.
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Malaysian 162 Heavy.
Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy, turn right heading 200. Fiji 333 India Golf Heavy, descend and maintain 5,000. Singapore arrival, Air China 975, with you at 9,000. Qantas 1 Super, descend and maintain 7,000. Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra, turn left heading 070, descend and maintain 6,000. Descend and maintain 7,000, Qantas 1 Super.
Descend and maintain 5,000, Fiji 333 India Golf Heavy.
Turn left heading 070, descend and maintain 6,000. Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra. Air China 975, radar contact. Air China 975, turn right heading 190. Turn right heading 190, Air China 975. Air China 825 Heavy is 35 nautical miles northeast of Sene International at 14,200 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, maintain best forward speed. Unable, Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, maintain 170 knots or greater. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, descend and maintain 8,000.
Descend and maintain 8,000, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Fiji 333 India Golf Heavy, turn left heading 250, descend and maintain 4,000. Qantas 1 Super, turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 5,000. Turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 5,000, Qantas 1 Super.
Turn left heading 250.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 080.
Turn left heading 080, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
FedEx 604 Heavy, turn left heading 110, descend and maintain 9,000. Turn left heading 110, descend and maintain 9,000, FedEx 604 Heavy. Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra, descend and maintain 5,000. Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy is 12 nautical miles east of Changi Air at 4,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi. Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy, turn left heading 200. Air China 975, avoid sending duplicate messages. Descend and maintain 5,000, Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra. I'm sorry, Air China 975. Air China 975, descend and maintain 6,000. Turn left heading 200, Charlie 6 Kilo India Delta Heavy. Descend and maintain 6,000, Air China 975. Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Hotel Zulu Whiskey 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 Lima. FedEx 773 Heavy, turn right heading 080. Thank you, good day. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, descend and maintain 6.
Descend and maintain 6,000, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, turn right heading 020, descend and maintain 3000. Turn right heading 020, descend and maintain 3000. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, Fiji 333 India Golf Heavy, turn right heading 260. FedEx 604 Heavy, requesting descent to 6000. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 310. Delta Alpha Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee,
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left
heading 050, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Victor November Alpha 107, turn left heading 040, descend and maintain. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, expect vectors.
Roger, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 050.
Turn left heading 050, descend and maintain 5000. Maintain 5000 until established on the localizer. Cleared eyes runway 2 left, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo is 13 nautical miles west of Patong Hang at 4,200 feet, requesting visual approach any runway at Singapore Changi. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, turn left heading 350. Turn left heading 350, Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi. Roger, Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, turn left heading 350, climb and maintain 4000, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 center approach. Turn left heading 350, descend and maintain 3000, maintain 3000 until established on the Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn right heading 0.
Turn right heading 050, descend and maintain 4000, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, cleared eyes runway 2 left. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo, maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final. Singapore 690 Sierra Quebec Heavy, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. Maintain 160 knots until 4 mile final. Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo. Singapore 690 Sierra Quebec Heavy, maintain best forward speed. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.
Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, Indonesia 621. China Southern 1223 Heavy, line up and wait runway 2 center. Line up and wait runway 2 center, China Southern 1223 Heavy.
Singapore Changi Tower, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, inbound on the ILS runway 2 left.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, wind 360 at 8, number 3.
Number 3, cleared to land, runway 2 left, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Indonesia 621, frequency change approved, good day. Frequency change approved Indonesia 621, good day. China Southern 1223 Heavy, wind 000 at 8, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, China Southern 1223 Heavy. November 6189 Quebec, line up and wait runway 2 center. Line up and wait runway 2 center, November 6189 Quebec. Malaysian 162 Heavy, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final.
Wilco, Malaysian 162 Heavy.
Singapore Changi Tower, Singapore 690 Sierra Quebec Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 2 center. Singapore 690 Sierra Quebec Heavy, wind 360 at 8, number 1, runway 2 center, cleared to land. Number 1, cleared to land, runway 2 center, Singapore 690 Sierra Quebec Heavy. November 6189 Quebec, wind 000 at 8, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. China Southern 1223 Heavy, contact Singapore Center on 127.0. Contacting Singapore Center on 127.0, China Southern 1223 Heavy. Singapore Changi Tower, Victor November Alpha 107, inbound on the ILS runway 2 left. Victor November Alpha 107, wind 360 at 8, number 3, runway 2 left, cleared to land. Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, November 6189 Quebec. Number 3, cleared to land, runway 2 left, Victor November Alpha 107. Singapore Changi Tower, FedEx 604 Heavy, inbound on the ILS runway 2 left. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Maintain slowest practical speed, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
November 6189 Quebec.
Going around, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore Changi Tower, Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, Roger, fly runway heading runway 2 left. Number 3, clear to land.
Roger, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Number 2, clear to land, runway 2 center, Tango Charlie Alpha Charlie Romeo. Papa Hotel Alpha November Sierra, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, contact Singapore.
Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Turn right heading 190, Air China 825 Heavy. Singapore 905 Heavy, reduce speed to 210 knots. FedEx 773 Heavy, descend and maintain 5000.
Executing missed approach, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Turn left heading 280, Singapore 905 Heavy.
Qantas 1 Super, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Descend and maintain 5000, FedEx 773 Heavy.
Air China 975, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Roger, Qantas 1 Super. Roger, Air China 975. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 270. Turn right heading 270, Qantas 1 Super. China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn right heading 130, descend and maintain 9000.
Turn right heading 130, descend and maintain 9000, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Singapore arrival, Qatari 576, with you at 14,500. Air China 825 Heavy, turn right heading 240, descend and maintain 3000. Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, descend and maintain 4000. Turn right heading 240, descend and maintain 3000, Air China 825 Heavy.
Descend and maintain 4000, Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy.
FedEx 773 Heavy, turn left heading 040. Singapore 905 Heavy, descend and maintain 6000.
Turn left heading 040, FedEx 773 Heavy, descend and maintain 6000, Singapore 905 Heavy.
Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy, reduce speed to 220 knots.
Reduce speed to 220 knots, Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy.
Air China 825 Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 124.6. FedEx 773 Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 124.6. Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, Air China 825 Heavy. Singapore 905 Heavy, turn right heading 040.
Turn right heading 040, Singapore 905 Heavy. Sichuan 453, requesting descent via Repo 1 Alpha arrival.
Qatari 576, turn left heading 110, descend and maintain 9000. China Eastern, turn left heading 110, descend and maintain 9000, Qatari 576. Singapore arrival, Air Singapore approach, Emirates 2193, with you at 13,900, descending via Air N1 Alpha arrival. Singapore 905 heavy, turn right heading 050, descend and maintain 4000.
Sichuan 453, requesting descent via Repo 1 Alpha arrival. Singapore approach, Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray, with you at 8100.
Qatari 576, do not exceed 250 knots.
Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec heavy is 7 nautical miles southeast of Batam Hang at 14,000 feet, requesting oils approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi.
Qantas 1 Super, turn left heading 270. Do not exceed 250 knots. Qatari 576. Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, turn right heading 260. Turn left heading 270, Qantas 1 Super. Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy, turn left heading 240.
Turn right heading 260, Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy.
Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, turn right heading 260.
Turn right heading 260, Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy.
Scooter 29, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6.
Turn left heading 240, Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy.
FedEx 773 Heavy, maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. Air China 975, turn left heading 270. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 270. Turn right heading 270, Qantas 1 Super. Qatari 576, turn right heading 170. Turn right heading 170, Qatari 576. Singapore 888 is 29 nautical miles northeast of Singapore Changi at 9,400 feet, requesting visual approach any runway at Singapore Changi. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 340. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Turn left heading 200, maintain 4000, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Qatari 576, contact Singapore approach on 120.3. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 030. Contacting Singapore approach on 120.3, Qatari 576. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray, turn right heading 120, descend and maintain 5000. Turn right heading 030, Qantas 1 Super. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 050.
Turn right heading 120, descend and maintain 5000. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray.
Turn right heading 050, Qantas 1 Super. Singapore 905 Heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Air China 975 is 20 nautical miles southwest of Batam Hang at 4,000 feet, requesting radar vectors to Singapore Changi.
Roger, Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray.
Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray, reduce speed to 180 knots.
Reduce speed to 180 knots. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray.
Air China 975, contact Singapore approach on 120.3.
Turn left heading 050, descend and maintain 4000. Maintain 4000 until established on the localizer. Cleared oils runway 2 left. Singapore 905 Heavy.
Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 120.3.
Contacting Singapore approach on 120.3. Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy.
Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray, turn left heading 070.
Turn left heading 070, Charlie November Mike Alpha X-ray. Singapore approach, China Eastern 619 Heavy, with you at 9000.
Black Pearl 1 is 23 nautical miles north of Kariman at 16,300 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn right heading 010, descend and maintain 6000. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 100.
Singapore approach, Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy, with you at 10,800. Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy is 17 nautical miles southwest of Batam Hang at 10,600 feet, requesting oils approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi.
China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn right heading 360.
Turn right heading 360, China Eastern 619 Heavy. Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. Singapore 509 Heavy, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3.
Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy.
Black Pearl 1, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray, turn left heading 350, descend and maintain 4000, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 left approach. United 983 India November is 13 nautical miles southeast of Batam Hang at 7,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Singapore 905 Heavy, request frequency change.
Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray, turn left heading 320.
Turn left heading 320, Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray.
Air China 825 Heavy, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6. Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Air China 825 Heavy. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 090.
Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Singapore 905 Heavy.
Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 110. United 983 India November, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, United 983 India November. Emirates, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 100. Turn left heading 3.
Turn left heading 100, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Qantas 72 Heavy, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. Turn right heading 140, descend and maintain 5000, Emirates 2193.
Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, Qantas 72 Heavy. Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy is 23 nautical miles southeast of Kariman at 4,000 feet. Requesting
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left.
Turn left heading 090, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Air China 975, radar contact.
Turn right heading 350, Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy.
Turn right heading 120, Emirates 2193. Qantas 1 Super is 9 nautical miles west of Batam Hang at 3,400 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi. Qantas 1 Super, turn left heading 300. Turn left heading 300, Qantas 1 Super. Air China 975, request frequency change. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray, contact Batam Hang Tower on 118.3. Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6.
Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Charlie November Mike Alpha X-Ray. China Eastern 619 Heavy is 15 nautical miles south of Tengah at 6,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Air China 975, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6. Qantas 1 Super, turn right heading 350, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 left approach. Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Air China 975. China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn right heading 170.
Turn right heading 170, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Turn right heading 350, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 left, Qantas 1 Super.
Turn right heading 010, Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy.
Emirates 2193, turn right heading 1, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 350, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 left approach. Turn left heading 340, Qatari 576. Emirates 2193, continue as filed, expect the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Emirates 2193, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi. Roger, Emirates 2193. Emirates 2193. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 350, maintain.
Turn left heading 350, maintain 4000, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, cleared aisles runway 2 left, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, turn right heading 080.
Turn left heading 100, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Emirates 2193, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Emirates 2193, turn left heading 350, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 2 left approach.
Turn right heading 080, Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy.
Unable, Emirates 2193. China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn left heading 090. Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy, turn right heading 030.
Turn left heading 090, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn left heading 050.
Turn right heading 030, Singapore 422 Sierra Quebec Heavy. Turn left heading 050, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Emirates 2193, request frequency change. Emirates 2193, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6. Black Pearl 1 is 19 nautical miles southwest of Singapore Pai at 5,400 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, turn left heading 050, maintain 4000. Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Scooter 29 is 8 nautical miles southwest of Singapore Pai at 4,000 feet, requesting ILS approach any runway at Singapore Changi.
Singapore 1 Charlie Whiskey Heavy, turn left heading Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, contact Singapore Changi Tower on.
Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Scooter 29.
Singapore Changi Tower, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, inbound on the ILS runway 2 left.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, wind 37.
Number 3, cleared to land, runway 2 left, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Air China 975, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final. Wilco, Air China 975. FedEx 64 Heavy, wind 010 at 7, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. Singapore Changi Tower, Emirates 349 Heavy, ready for departure at runway 2 center, departing west. Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, FedEx 64 Heavy. Emirates 349 Heavy, line up and wait runway 2 center. Line up and wait runway 2 center, Emirates 349 Heavy. Singapore 99, contact Singapore Center on 127.0. Singapore Changi Tower, Sierra Echo Romeo November Romeo, ready for departure at runway 2 center, departing east. Air China 975, please expedite. FedEx 64 Heavy, contact Singapore Center on 127.0. Emirates 349 Heavy, wind 010 at 7, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, Emirates 349 Heavy. Contacting Singapore Center on 127.0, FedEx 64 Heavy. November 610 Delta Kilo, line up and wait runway 2 center. Line up and wait runway 2 center, November 610 Delta Kilo. Qantas 1 Super, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final. Singapore Changi Tower, Black Pearl 1, inbound on the ILS runway 2 left. Singapore Changi Tower, Sierra Echo Romeo November Romeo, ready for departure at runway 2 center, departing east. Wilco, Qantas 1 Super. Black Pearl 1, wind 370 at 7, number 2, runway 2. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Going around. Fly runway heading runway 2 left. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Sierra Echo Romeo November Romeo, avoid sending duplicate messages. I'm sorry, Sierra Echo Romeo November Romeo. Emirates 349 Heavy, frequency change approved, good day. Frequency change approved Emirates 349 Heavy, good day. November 610 Delta Kilo, wind 010 at 7, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. Qatari 1303, line up and wait runway 2 center.
Line up and wait runway 2 center, Qatari 1303.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, November 610 Delta Kilo. Singapore 218 Heavy, line up and wait runway 2 center.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, request frequency change.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee,
Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Philippines 66.
Executing missed approach, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Philippines 66, turn right heading 280. Sesh 1453, turn left heading 200, descend and maintain 4000. Turn right heading 280, Philippines 66. Singapore 2308, turn left heading 330. Xanadu 728 Heavy, requesting radar vectors to Singapore Changi. Turn left heading 330, Singapore 2308.
Turn left heading 200, descend and maintain 4000, Sich 1453.
Scooter 29, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi.
Roger, Scooter 29.
Sesh 1453, contact Singapore approach on 124.6. China Eastern 619 Heavy, turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 4000.
Turn left heading 260, descend and maintain 4000, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Qatari 576, turn left heading 020. Saudia 120 Lima Alpha Heavy, turn left heading 020. Turn left heading 020, Qatari 576.
Turn right heading 110, descend and maintain 5000, Scooter 29.
Turn left heading 020, Saudia 120 Lima Alpha Heavy.
Air China 921 is 23 nautical miles southwest of Batam Hang at 11,800 feet, requesting visual approach any runway at Singapore Changi. Air China 921 is 23 nautical miles southwest of Batam Hang at 11,700 feet, request
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 210.
Turn left heading 210, climb and maintain 5000, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
China Eastern 619 Heavy, contact Singapore approach on 124.6. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha, reduce speed to 220 knots. Reduce speed to 220 knots. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha.
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6, China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Scooter 268 Heavy, reduce speed to 220 knots. Scooter 29, turn left heading 050, descend and maintain 5000. Maintain 5000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 2 center approach. Air China 921, continuous file.
Reduce speed to 220 knots, Scooter 268 Heavy.
Continuous filed, Air China 921.
Air India 555 Super is 19 nautical.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn right
Turn right heading 300, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore 2308, Turn left heading 240. Descend and maintain 4000. Turn left heading 240. Descend and maintain 4000. Singapore 2308. Philippines 66. Turn right heading 290. Air China 921. Turn left heading 310. Turn right heading 290. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee. Turn left
heading 170. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Turn right heading 180. Descend and maintain 4000. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Scooter 268 Heavy. Avoid sending duplicate messages. Singapore 2308. Turn left Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Reduce speed to 220 knots. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore 616. Continuous files. Air China 988. Continuous files. Continuous files. Air China 988. Continuous files. Singapore 616. Singapore 2308. Contact Singapore approach on 124.6. Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6. Singapore Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Reduce speed to 200 knots. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee. Turn right heading 200. Descend and maintain 4000.
Turn right heading 200. Descend and maintain 4000. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Increase speed to 240 knots. Qatari 576. Turn right. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee. Contact Singapore approach on.
Contacting Singapore approach on 124.6. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Turn left heading 200. Descend and maintain 3000. Singapore 509 Heavy. Turn left heading 20.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee is 3 nautical miles west of Singapore Paya at 4,600 feet. Requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi.
Singapore 2308. Turn left heading 110. Turn left heading 200. Singapore 509 Heavy. United 983 Indian. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Roger. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore 509 Heavy. Please follow instructions or you will be reported. Singapore 2308. Turn left heading 100. Turn left heading 100. Singapore 2308. Sesh 1453. You're aligned with the wrong runway. Please check runway assignment. China Eastern 619 Heavy. Maintain 170 knots until 5 mile final. Singapore 2308. Minimum fuel. 29 minutes remaining. Singapore 2308. Turn left heading 050. Maintain 4000. Maintain 4000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 2 left approach. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. You're in an active airspace. Please contact Singapore approach on 124.6.
Maintain 170 knots until 5 mile final. China Eastern 619 Heavy.
Turn left heading 050. Maintain 4000. Maintain 4000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 2 left. Singapore 2308.
Stand by. Pitch 1453.
Singapore approach. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. With you at 3600. Sesh 1453. Maintain best forward speed.
Maintain best forward speed. Pitch 1453.
Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Turn left heading 110. Descend and maintain 3000. Turn left heading 110. Descend and maintain 3000. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Roger. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Singapore 2308. Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. Maintain 180 knots until 6 mile final. Singapore 2308. Singapore 509 Heavy. Turn left heading 190. Turn left heading 190. Singapore 509 Heavy. Singapore 509 Heavy. Expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 center at Singapore Changi. Singapore 509 Heavy. Turn left heading 180. Turn left heading 180. Singapore 509 Heavy. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Reduce speed to 180 knots. Reduce speed to 180 knots. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha.
Executing missed approach. Pitch 1453.
Qatari 576. Reduce speed to 180 knots. China Eastern 619 Heavy. Contact Singapore Changi. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Turn left heading 110. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Turn left heading 170, descend and maintain 3000, Singapore 509 heavy. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6. Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, turn left heading 050, maintain 4000.
Turn left heading 050, maintain 4000, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer. Cleared eyes runway 2 left, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Sesh 1453, turn left heading 220. Singapore approach, Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, with you at 4800.
Turn left heading 220, Sich 1453.
Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, radar contact. Sesh 1453, turn left heading 170.
Turn left heading 170, Sich 1453.
Qatari 576, turn left heading 110. Qatari 576, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Roger, Qatari 576, Sesh 1453, turn left heading 160.
Turn left heading 160, Sich 1453.
Roger, Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec. Singapore 509 heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Qatari 576, turn left heading 100. Roger, Singapore 509 heavy. Turn left heading 100, Qatari 576. Scooter 616 heavy, contact Kuala Lumpur Center on 127.0. Singapore 509 heavy, turn right heading 190. Singapore 509 heavy, turn right heading 200. Turn right heading 200, Singapore 509 heavy. Qatari 576, turn left heading 050, maintain 4000, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 2 left approach. Saudia 120 Lima Alpha Heavy is 3 nautical miles southwest of Singapore Paya at 4,400 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 2 left at Singapore Changi. Turn left heading 050, maintain 4000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 2 left, Qatari 576. Sesh 1453, turn right heading 200.
Turn right heading 200, Sich 1453.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, contact Singapore Changi.
Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore 509 heavy, turn left heading 130.
Singapore Changi Tower, Lion 7152, ready for departure in sequence at
Singapore Changi Tower, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, inbound on the ILS runway 2 left.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 2 center, Lion 7152.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Number 3, cleared to land, runway 2 left, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Speedbird 16, line up and wait runway 2 center.
Line up and wait runway 2 center, Speedbird 16.
Singapore 2308, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha, go around, Fly runway heading runway 2 left. Going around. Fly runway heading runway 2 left. Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Wilco, Singapore 2308. Speedbird 16, wind 010 at 7, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 2 center, speedbird 16.
Air China 932 Charlie Alpha, contact Singapore arrival on 119.3. Contacting Singapore arrival on 119.3, Air China 932 Charlie Alpha. Singapore Changi Tower, Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, inbound on the ILS runway 2 center. Line 7152, contact Singapore Center on 127.0. Speedbird 16, wind 010 at 7, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff.
Contacting Singapore Center on 127.0, Lion 7152. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 2 center, speedbird 16. Thank you, good day, Lion 7152.
Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, wind 370 at 7, number 1, runway 2 center, cleared to land.
30.
Number 1, cleared to land, runway 2 center, Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec.
10.
Etihad 01 heavy, line up and wait runway 2 center.
Line up and wait runway 2 center, Etihad 01 heavy.
Etihad 01 heavy, wind 010 at 7, runway 2 center, cleared for takeoff. Fiji 1482, line up and wait runway 2 center. Line up and wait runway 2 center, Fiji 1482.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 2 center, Etihad 01 heavy. Contacting Singapore.
Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, exit runway when able and contact ground, please expedite,
Wilco, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Sich 1453, wind 370 at 7.
Thank you, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Number 2, cleared to land, runway 2 left, Sich 1453.
Fiji 1482, wind 010 at 7, cleared for takeoff. Contacting Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6, Singapore 279 heavy. Singapore 274, runway 2 center, taxi via contact tower when ready. Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 322 super, ready to taxi with
Singapore Changi ground, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, request taxi to B5 at the other terminals.
Taxi into runway 2 center via, Singapore 218 heavy. Papa Kilo Lima Mike November, taxi to waypoint via, Singapore 322 super, disregard last message. Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 322 super, ready for pushback with information Oscar. Taxi into waypoint via, Papa Kilo Lima Mike November. Papa Kilo Lima Mike November, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6. Singapore 274, contact Singapore Changi Tower on 118.6. Contacting Singapore Changi Tower, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee, taxi to B.
Taxiing to B5 via Victor, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Singapore Changi ground, Egypt Air 777 heavy, ready for pushback with information Oscar.
Singapore 2308, pushback approved, tail to the north. Singapore Changi ground, November 38 Alpha Super, ready to taxi with information Oscar.
Singapore Changi ground, Singapore 777 super, ready for pushback with information Oscar.
Stand by, Singapore 2308.
Singapore Changi Ground, Air Force One, ready to taxi to runway 2 center with information Oscar.
Singapore Changi Ground, Qantas 1 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Papa.
Air Force One, runway 2 center, taxi via contact tower when ready. Singapore Changi Ground, Singapore 28 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Oscar.
Taxiing to runway 2 center via Air Force One.
Singapore Changi Ground, Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, request taxi to D-36 at the other terminals. November 38 Alpha Super, taxi to waypoint via
Singapore Changi Ground, Singapore 777 Super, ready for pushback with information Oscar.
taxiing to waypoint via November 38 Alpha Super. Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec, taxi to waypoint via Air Force One, you're on an active airport. Please contact Singapore Changi Ground on 124.3. Taxiing to waypoint via Scooter 028 Sierra Quebec. Singapore 777 Super, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Pushback approved, tail to the north. Singapore 777 Super. Singapore Changi Ground, Egypt Air 777 Heavy, ready for pushback with information Oscar.
Singapore Changi Ground, Oscar Kilo Juliet Alpha November, request taxi to 203 at the other terminals.
Singapore Changi Ground, Sichuan 453, request taxi to parking.
Oscar Kilo Juliet Alpha November, taxi to 203 via taxiing.
Thank you, good day, Delta Alpha Delta Delta Yankee.
Pushback approved, tail to the north. Egypt Air 777 Heavy.
Singapore 2, pushback approved, tail to the north. Singapore 28 Heavy.